member for Toronto Danforth.
Thank you, Speaker. My question to the Minister of the Environment. Ontario is facing potential for many billions of dollars of damages and potential loss of life from climate change-related extreme weather events in the years to come. Cap-and-trade funds were raised to reduce emissions from greenhouse sources. The projects were meant to help protect Ontarians for the future. But when the government wound down cap-and-trade, they cancelled many initiatives that would have helped reduce emissions, including hundreds of millions of dollars for hospital, school and social housing upgrades. It was not necessary to cancel those initiatives. So can the government inform the House as to what they will be using the cap-and-trade funds for, if not for reducing emissions?
Minister of the Environment, Conservation and Parks.
Mr. Speaker, through you to the member, and thank him for the question. He's quite right that this government did make a clear commitment in the election that it would wind down the cap-and-trade program. One of the first actions of this government was to do that, and as a result, we're putting $260 back in the pockets of Ontario families. He raises the question about cap-and-trade funds. Some of the cap-and-trade funds that were going to be spent, for example, were on an electric truck company that's backed by Warren Buffett and Chinese billionaires. We decided those weren't good things to spend money on that Ontario taxpayers were subsidizing. The monies that have been raised under a charge that was appropriately for greenhouse gas reduction. The funds that were raised for that will be used either to fight greenhouse gas reductions or for the wind down of that fund, as I've said before. Thank you.
Supplementary.
Thank you, Speaker. The minister says the funds meant to be spent to reduce emissions will be spent for that purpose. That's what he says. Then why did the government cut funding for schools and hospitals when those projects would have cut emissions?
Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I don't know entirely what funds the member's talking about, but let's talk about what we did, which was responsible. The responsible thing to do, Mr. Speaker, when we cancelled the cap-and-trade program because it was ineffective, was to cut the funding, remove the dollars that were being spent that were raised by that program. It was the only responsible thing the government
for Waterloo, come to order. The Premier, come to order.
The only responsible thing that the government could do at the end of that program.
Premier, come to order.
We're committed to the orderly wind-down of the cap-and-trade program, and this fall we'll talk about a made-in-Ontario solution, a solution that doesn't take money out of Ontarians' pockets but reduces greenhouse gases.